Welcome back, everyone, to your Sunday evening second stimulus check and second stimulus package update for Sunday, December 20th. I saw you guys earlier today. If you didn't tune into that video earlier in the day, the link will be down below in the description. You can watch that video after watching this one. You don't necessarily have to watch them in any particular order, but we do have a lot to discuss in this video. Did the House vote? Did the Senate vote? Did Trump sign this bill? Is it going through? When can we expect a vote? All of these things we definitely have to discuss in this video. So if you're part of the evening gang, we do tend to get more views and traction during the evening when my videos upload towards midnight. So if you are part of the evening gang, hello, welcome. Show your support by smashing that like button. Give the video a big thumbs up. Would appreciate that. If you haven't already, do consider becoming a subscriber. Hit that big red button. Also hit the notification bell as well. That will just notify you every single time I do post a new video. The news is constantly changing, so you want to be up to date with all the 411 and everything that's going on. And if you want to give a free gift for the holidays, share my videos with a friend or family member. Share it with a person or two that you think would get information and value out of my content. You can share the video with anyone you like, copy and paste the link, share it on Facebook, share it on social media, and we can dive right in. So what were the new developments today? Well, today we witnessed House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senator Chuck Schumer speak to reporters, came on TV, big announcement. They had announced that lawmakers had finally come to an agreement, finally come to a consensus, and reached a nearly $1 trillion aid package that will provide more funding to businesses and individuals, among other funding. Finally, the months of gridlock and stalemate is over. This will be the first significant infusion and injection of federal funding into the economy since March or April, when the CARES Act was passed. Even though this plan is roughly half of the $2.2 trillion CARES Act that was passed earlier in the year, it is still one of the largest pieces of legislation in American history. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell cheerfully spoke today. He had said, quote, "We can finally report what our nation has needed to hear for a very long time. More help is on the way." So this agreement will hopefully provide the much needed financial lifelines to American individuals and businesses that have been dealing with the economic fallout from the pandemic. So, was this deal voted on yet? And what does this final deal include? Does it include stimulus checks? Will it include unemployment benefits? And exactly how much and for how long? Well, if you have been watching my updates, you would have known that the House was expected to vote on this bill today, Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time exactly. That never happened. There was no vote. So yes, congressional leaders and negotiators did reach an agreement, but no, nothing has been voted on yet. But remember, if a stimulus deal along with the omnibus spending bill was not passed tonight at midnight, there would be a government shutdown. But once again, the House and the Senate were able to pass a measure in order to avert yet another government shutdown and give them at least one more day. So Congress will hopefully vote on the new stimulus deal tomorrow, Monday, along with the federal spending bill that would fund the government through September of 2021. And with the Moderna vaccine now approved, 5.9 million doses are expected to be delivered all across the country this week, and the first doses and vaccinations are expected to start tomorrow, Monday as well. Briefly, in other news, President-elect Joe Biden will also be inoculated tomorrow. He will be receiving his vaccine publicly on air. And we also now have a new strain of the virus that's actually much more infectious and spreads much more easily in the UK. London has already shut down, and flights have already been banned in EU nations and Canada from the UK. It's exceedingly more transmissible, but so far we know that it's not affecting the lethality. The virus is still as lethal, and the vaccine should be well enough to prevent it. We are still waiting for text to be available, but we do know that this bill will in fact include another second stimulus check, this time of $600, so half the amount that was under the CARES Act. So you will be receiving a $600 stimulus check along with dependents. And there's conflicting text here. I've seen 10, I've seen 11. It does look like it's going to be 11 weeks though. So at least one more week than originally expected. We will get 11 weeks of extended benefits at $300 a week in unemployment. This bill would also continue and expand unemployment benefits for gig workers and freelancers, and it would actually extend federal payments for people whose regular benefits have already expired. This measure would also provide more than $284 billion for businesses. It would also revive the PPP, or Paycheck Protection Program, of course, a very popular federal loan program for small businesses that lapsed over the summer. It would expand eligibility under the program, though, for nonprofits, local newspapers, and radio and TV broadcasters, and allocate $15 billion for performance venues, independent movie theaters, and other cultural institutions devastated by the restrictions imposed to stop the spread of the virus. This agreement is also expected to provide billions of dollars for testing, tracing, and vaccine distribution, as well as $82 billion for colleges and schools, $13 billion in increased nutrition assistance, $7 billion for broadband access, and $25 billion in rental assistance. The agreement is also expected to extend the eviction moratorium set to expire at the end of this year. So landlords, if you're watching this, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to evict your tenant right before the new year. This will be extended into 2021. Nancy Pelosi wrote in a letter to some of her Democratic colleagues today, quote, "We have now reached an agreement on a bill that will crush the virus and put money in the pockets of working families who are struggling. This emergency relief bill is an important initial step." Reacting to this groundbreaking agreement, Mr. Biden, who took over the damaged economy back in 2008, is now expected to take on the worst pandemic in the history of this country, as well as the worst economic fallout in history, or at least in modern history. He said in the statement, "I am heartened to see members of Congress heed that message, reach across the aisle, and work together." He then went to say, "But this action in the lame duck session is just the beginning. Our work is far from over." Of course, Democrats want to implement more stimulus when Biden does take office, especially if they can regain control of the Senate due to the Georgia runoff races. The price tag of this bill is just about the amount that was introduced by the bipartisan group of senators and congressmen earlier this month that restarted these negotiations. We really got to give them a big round of applause, even though their bill left out stimulus checks. We still have to thank them for rekindling these negotiations that ultimately led to this compromise. And one of these representatives that was included in these negotiations for that bipartisan framework was New Jersey Representative Josh Gottheimer. He is a Democrat from the 5th District, and he called the agreement, quote, "a Christmas miracle." He went on to say this bipartisan, bicameral agreement is an essential down payment that our country desperately needs. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer spoke subsequently after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi at the press conference this evening where she had announced the compromise. And Chuck Schumer, he expects more legislative action in regards to stimulus once Biden does take office. He thinks that this stimulus bill is only beginning. He had said, quote, "This bill is a good bill, but it is not the end of the story. It is not the end of the job." As far as who qualifies for stimulus checks, you will qualify for stimulus checks if you make under $75,000 per year, or $150,000 for couples. And the bill would then phase out from there, meaning the stimulus checks would not be as much as $600. It would start to phase out. We'll see the final text of the bill once we do have it in our hands, up to $99,000 for individuals and $198,000 for couples. And couples where one spouse is not a citizen will be eligible for funding. And the pandemic unemployment insurance programs that are set to dry up and expire by the end of this year will now be extended into March. It would be extended 11 weeks. And those receiving unemployment insurance would get an extra $300 a week, but those payments would not be made retroactive. As we stated, contract and gig workers would be eligible for unemployment payment. It is getting late here, guys. Had to hop on here and click that record button, turn on the camera just for you to give you the latest. Getting late here on the East Coast, almost midnight as I'm filming this. Get some rest, get some sleep. Hopefully a vote will happen tomorrow and then ultimately be signed by President, and we could start receiving those stimulus checks. And then from there, I'll be sure to update you guys on more information such as how to receive a payment, what would you do if you did not get your payment yet, who's going to get the payments first, and unemployment details. All this I always like to cover. I covered this in detail after the CARES Act was passed earlier in the year. Try to lead you guys through all of this no matter what. I do look forward to seeing you guys Monday, tomorrow, with tomorrow's news. Might already be Monday by the time you're watching this, or maybe the bill had already passed. Doesn't matter. Well, I will definitely be updating you. Be sure that you do have that like button smash the like button on this video, and be sure that you are a subscriber, have that subscribe button clicked, click that notification bell as well. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video.